Back to the local W. I think we all know what time it is. I think we all know indeed what time it is. It's time to really tap in to the Caitlin Clark effect, shall we? Let's really dive in deep to the inner workings of what is prime time Caitlin Clark activity. Now, last night, WNBA Twitter might have had you fooled. Last night, the tabloids and the individuals and brands that are larger than myself, I can't speak for local W, but for myself as young seven man, might have fooled you with their trickery and their framework and their various agenda pushing. But I'm here to tell you what actually happened. As the Atlanta Dream correspondent of the local W, let me tell you what actually happened last night. Now, the media will tell you that Caitlin Clark went out there and balled out. Almost a triple-double. We've never seen anything like this. But as actual fans of sports and not hype beasts, not casuals, we know what to do when we look at a box score. We all have access to the WNBA app, do we not? We're all real WNBA fans, am I correct? If you said no to that, then surely you live in Indiana and you were watching on Bally Sports, assuming you don't have Xfinity and their beef that they have going on. If you said no to that, then surely you were at the game. If you said no to that, you didn't watch the game, all you did was watch a couple highlights and you're reading off of a box score or a little email from a press kit that you received, then by all means, I can understand if this video will come as a shock to you. Because let me tell you what actually happened from an individual that watched the game. But I had it on with the vision that House of Highlights had it on. I had it on with the vision that ESPN had it on. I had it on with the vision that a couple of no-name large influencers in the WNBA Twitter sphere had on. I'm going to tell you the glass half full. I'm going to tell you the kaleidoscope vision. I'm going to tell you the tunnel scope, the tunnel vision mode of what happened in the game. Since we're not going to tell the whole story, I'll play the game too. I purposefully turned the game off at halftime, because through detective work, I'm able to see that the starters didn't really play meaningful minutes after that in terms of the Atlanta Dream. Because it's preseason. Again, we don't like to tell the whole story, but I'll be the one to do it. Because this is preseason. And during a preseason game, while you can tell what the strengths and weaknesses of a team is going to be, the main thing is you'll see it in the first two quarters. Because in the WNBA season, with the rosters being constructed how they are, you want to have ample opportunity to show individuals who are close to making the cut or who might not make the cut, if you will. The rosters are very competitive. The spaces are limited. So in the WNBA, when you're watching a preseason game, I'm not saying go home, but if you got laundry to fold or something like that, you got to pick the kids up from soccer, whatever the situation is. It is a safe bet to turn it off at halftime. Now, again, from a diehard perspective, you should probably watch the whole game. But during the preseason, and especially with the selective lenses that everyone else uses, I don't see why I can't be on the same type of time. So let me tell you what happened in the first two quarters. We all know what happened in the last couple quarters while Caitlin and the squad were bawling their hearts out against our third string. And still only won by a single point. But that's neither here nor there. Let me tell you what happened in the first two quarters. The lights were a tad too bright for some individuals. And for a team that is on year number 2 of having the number 1 pick, let me peel back the curtains and explain what that means. That means you're a lottery team. If you had the number 1 pick 2 years in a row, you're a lottery team. Your buns, your cheeks. You are not very good if you statistically have the odds to have the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. So I don't want anyone to think that this is a specific attack on any specific draft pick, because it is a common trend specifically with the Fever. All that stomping around about Aaliyah Boston and you didn't make the playoffs. You were able to acquire the #1 pick. It wasn't even like how it was with the Atlanta Dream in Ryan Howard's first year, where you just barely made it, but a certain individual abandoned the team and went to go play overseas during the playoff push to leave your rookie, generational talent, but a rookie to fend for herself against an established, mildly veteran team. But we'll leave that alone for a second. Let me get back on track because I don't want to make this video too long. I got things to do. They were getting cooked. I don't know who needs to hear this, but they were getting cooked. Tina Charles said no mas. That's enough. Maybe might not be physically the defensive anchor of the past that she was. The lateral movement ain't lateral. I think I made up a word. Like it used to in the year 2014. It's 2024. I understand that. But the concept of keeping both arms up and just being as tall as possible and just watching the missed layups and post shots and grabbing the rebounds still seems to be clicking. There's still no answer for her down low in the post. Holding people accountable. There have been years in the past where Cheyenne Parker hasn't been the most reliable individual on the defensive end. But when you have a veteran who has been there, former MVP, all of a sudden, these missed assignments are getting called out. It's not just Coach Wright on the sideline screaming. You have someone on the court who can hold the players accountable. That's what you have in Tina Charles. Let's talk about the 3 All-Stars from last year. That's right. We just got done talking about Tina Charles just whooping everybody. Let's talk about the other All-Stars. Caitlin Clark was having a tough night in the office against the defensive dynamo. The two-way, I can't even think of a word. The two-way phenomenon known as Alicia Gray. It was a long night at the office. Will House of Highlights show the bricks from the logo? Will House of Highlights show the air balls from the logo? Will those be displayed? How about the times where single person coverage was too much for her and she had to cough it up to someone else immediately? Not a double team, single coverage. Those goggles must have been on something spectacular to be locked in like that. Shout out to Alicia Gray. And still got some buckets off. With an assignment like that, with all the hype behind it, mwah, excellent job. And we already know what it is with Ryan Howard. You can do all the cute outlet passes you want, but the chase down block is always 2 steps away. Notice how we're talking about Ryan Howard on the defensive end. We haven't even talked about the offense and her ability to distribute and her ability to play a role in an offense that is, I'm not going to say heliocentric, but an offense that is centered around Tina Charles. To still be able to have the impact on all sides of the ball that she has. Then you got Dangerfield as a third point guard option. You got Destiny Henderson doing her thing, holding it down. You have Haley Jones balling, controlling the team, and putting the clamps on the defensive end. Poor Christy Wallace. Poor Christy Wallace. Poor thing. You got Aerial Powers doing her thing, cashing threes. I mean, there were several missed calls in the paint, but it is what it is. Y'all know Jordan Canada coming back, right? How about LA doing her thing down low? How about Nia Coffey coming in, contributing? Someone who should, in my opinion, I feel like she should be starting, but I understand Tina Charles, give her the keys. She's there for a reason, sure. I'm not going to doubt it. It's weird, but I'm not going to doubt it. How about Nas? Huh? How about Nas Hillman? Hair braid to the back. I'm chilling, but my swag on for the attack. Tell the whole story. Now, while I will not be doing around-the-clock coverage of all the time that the Fever continue to get exposed, because my job is cover the Dream. My job is to warn all of you that the Dream are nothing to be slept on and nothing to be played with. Y'all can join the hype train of Chicago, with good reason, they got Kennedy Carter. But y'all can join the Chicago hype train. You can continue to put your focus on what's going on in Phoenix, which I don't think enough attention is being paid to what they have cooking over there. You can continue to ride the hype train of the Storm by all means. Don't sleep on Aguma Wale and the crew down in Dallas. I get it. The Lynx are fun and exciting. I get it. Elena Delle Donne never plays. I get it. Shout out Washington. I get it. Storylines afoot. But let me, as your correspondent from the local W, warn you all. Atlanta is nothing to be played with this year. And you will all see. You'll all see.